Former two-time heavyweight champion of the world and still youngest ever man to hold a heavyweight title, Iron Mike Tyson, was once again dropping his historical knowledge on his podcast, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. He was interviewing Joey Diaz, a guy whose face I recognise, but I don't think I'm familiar with his work. And they got onto the subject of kid chocolate. I'm not talking about Peter Quillen for our more modern fans, that middleweight of recent years who was okay. I'm talking about the original Cuban Bonbon. Fantastic fighter, all-time great, who helped popularise a new division at the time, around 1930, which was super featherweight. It wasn't quite 130 pounds to begin with, but then slowly made its way up to that now official weight. Mike Tyson, though he's the host, he's often treated like the guest because a lot of the guests are starstruck. And he'll often go on these great segues where he really shows and reminds us of his historical knowledge. Of course, Mike Tyson, when he was a younger man, he watched so many fight films with cuss as he was an aspiring heavyweight. There was a documentary when he was champ, I think in '89, that he did with Britain's Harry Carpenter. Check that out, just shows you how much he knows, how much he studied. And I thought in recent years that Tyson wasn't as historically savvy as he had been, but now, even when he's smoking a blunt, he'll just pick out these great fighters and drop all kinds of great little nuggets about them. Now, a lot of people in boxing, trainers and fighters, claim to know their history. But it's often not pre-1950. That is the difference. Mike Tyson still today knows about all kinds of boxing, over 100 years worth. And Kid Chocolate, who he referenced, tremendous skills which can still be seen in the black and white footage. Particularly his fight with Tony Canzoneri, another fantastic fighter. Watch the last two rounds of that from 1932. Absolutely incredible. And part of the reason people don't pay as much attention to fighters pre-1950 is because it runs parallel with this idea of evolution in sports in general. People look back at black and white fights and they view it like some kind of defunct machinery, which isn't relevant anymore, which doesn't have any kind of information that can be applied today. That is not the case. People will give their dues to Sugar Ray Robinson out of respect, but the skill sets you saw in the Sugar Man were around before. And again, go watch some Kid Chocolate. An absolutely sensational operator. The way he moved, the way he jabbed, incredible stuff. And when you look at certain other great fighters, like James Toney, for instance, he often spoke how he looked back to people like Jersey Joe Walcott, Ezra Charles, Archie Moore with their shoulder roll defense to just show there was utility in these older fighters that were then applied in the 1990s. I always love seeing Tyson get enthusiastic, sometimes even very emotional when he talks about these great fighters. Knows so much. But it's kind of funny to think that the reason most people love Mike Tyson, and those who were just getting into him now on YouTube, checking the old footage, seeing the beast that was in his prime, they won't realise that this guy is also a bit of a boxing geek.